Maple Leaf Farms works with more than 150 farm families throughout Northeast Indiana who grow and care for our ducks as part of their farm operations. Some of these families have been working with our company for decades through multiple generations, while others have joined our team in the past few years. So when someone asks, what does a typical duck farm look like? We explain that each farm is unique. Farms that have been with us for years may look very different than those built recently. Despite differences in heating, ventilation, flooring type, and other structural features, our farms share our mission of raising healthy birds in a humane manner so that Maple Leaf Farms can maintain its reputation for offering the highest quality, most wholesome duck products on the market. I know that all sounds good, but if you're still wondering what a duck farm is like, join us as we take a look around a duck farm so that you can learn a little more about our farming operations. When one of our company vehicles arrives at a farm, we stop just inside the drive to spray our tires and wheel wells with disinfectant to reduce the risk of carrying bacteria or diseases onto the farm and making our ducks sick. Country roads have a lot of traffic associated with other livestock and poultry production, so it's not unreasonable to think that a vehicle could potentially carry a disease onto a farm. This is kind of like taking your shoes off at the door in order to keep your home clean. Speaking of shoes, we'll don our entire biosecurity suit, including shoe covers, coveralls, hairnets, and gloves before we enter the barn. And as we enter the barn, we will step into the boot bath with disinfectant that will kill any germs that we may have picked up since we donned our biosuit. This is the entry area of the duck house. It not only serves as a biosecurity barrier for the barn, but it also serves as storage, work, and office area for the farm. In here, you will see equipment critical to the management of the farm. You will also find several important documents including the visitor log, training materials, and farm records. The farmer uses the flock record card to document barn temperatures, humidity, and losses each day, as well as other important information such as probiotic or vitamin use. They also document any medical treatments prescribed by a licensed veterinarian. Maple Leaf Farms doesn't include antibiotics in our duck feed or use them to promote growth, but we will give our ducks antibiotics when they are prescribed to treat an illness by a licensed veterinarian because we believe it is the humane thing to do. After signing into the visitor log and using the boot and hand sanitizer stations, we're ready to enter the barn into the growing area. Before we do, we always knock on the door so we don't startle the flock. So this is what we call the nursery. Each flock starts in this area of the barn because it can be equipped with extra feeders and special watering equipment that trains the birds to drink from the nipple drinker system. You can see that we also provide supplemental heat either as gas-fueled brooders, like this one, or coal stoves with brooding hoods. Whatever the type of heater, the goal is to get the floor temperature to at least 90 degrees because young ducks cannot fully regulate their body temperature. So ensuring the nursery area is warm and dry are critical steps to starting a healthy flock. As the ducks grow and require more space, we expand their area into a larger pen within the barn. As you can see, they're not caged, but can roam about and eat and drink water as they need. And that's what ducks do a lot: eating, drinking, resting, and roaming during the 35 days it takes for them to reach market weight, which is about 6.75 pounds. Duck barns can be equipped with slatted raised floors like this house, softwood shavings, or a combination of both, where you might see the slatted flooring underneath the water lines. The benefit of slatted flooring system is that it allows our farmers to scrape the manure that collects beneath the floor on a daily basis, which helps air quality in the barns. The slatted floors are also easier to clean and disinfect in between flocks. That said, healthy ducks can successfully be raised on shavings or other flooring types. Although some are mechanically ventilated with fans, most of our duck barns are designed with large windows that run down the side of the barn. These windows are covered with bird netting and insulated curtains to control ventilation. The curtains, as well as ridge vents in the ceiling, are adjusted to control the ventilation in the barn and ensure that fresh air is circulating throughout the barn without creating drafts that can cause chills in the birds. Maple Leaf Farms has a field technical staff whose responsibility is to visit these farms on a regular basis and provide support to the farmers. When we're here, we check the records, equipment, buildings, but most importantly, we check the flock and observe the ducks' overall behavior and appearance. Are they eating and drinking normally? Do they look comfortable? Are their vocalizations normal? Do their feathers look smooth and bright like they're healthy? These are some of the questions we ask ourselves when we're looking at a flock. As we move through the barn, we will do so very slowly because ducks move slowly. Actually, the cool thing about ducks is that we do not have to catch them to move them because they herd or flock together. That means that when we have to move them, we can walk them by slowly moving flags up and down very slowly. We'll check the temperature and humidity to ensure that they are appropriate for the flock age and weather outside. We'll also check the ammonia level in the barn and the height of the waterers. We want the water lines within comfortable reach of the ducks without being so low that they can bump into them and get wet. We will also examine the feeders and feed quality. Ducks eat pelleted feed since it's easier for them to eat with their bills. They don't eat ground feed very well, so we don't see a lot of fines in the feeders. After we are finished checking the flock and walking the interior of the barn, we will exit the barn and check on exterior to ensure that the farm's environmental systems are in compliance with our standards. We will also ensure that biosecurity measures such as bird netting over the windows, bait stations for rodent control, and a clear perimeter around the barn are in good order. We hope you learned a lot during your tour of the duck farm. It's time for us to dispose of our biogear, sanitize our hands and shoes, and move on to our next farm.